Listen!
Welcome everyone, this is Andres Restart, and this time we are talking about Donkey Kong Switch. So if you don't know what I'm referring to, for the last couple years, there has been a few rumors suggesting that a new Donkey Kong game is in development for Nintendo Switch. But with the most recent Nintendo Direct, there was no announcement of this game, so it begs the question, will we get an announcement for this game in the not so distant future? Many think that we are approaching the next generation for Nintendo, so it's raising some concerns, some debate about this game. And that's what we're talking about today. But before we go further, let me point out that we are aiming to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. With your help, it just might be possible. So the reason many think this Donkey Kong game is a legitimate thing, going beyond the rumors that are coming from credible places, is because Donkey Kong had a significant role in the recent Super Mario Bros. Movie. They made sure to hire multiple high-profile actors, some of which were for the Donkey Kong universe characters. There was a whole Donkey Kong realm within the Mario Bros. Kingdom, and Donkey Kong himself was one of the main characters of the movie that was traveling alongside our main party, and the belief is that Nintendo is using the movie to further market other things. They've talked about how in the past how they want to branch out their IP in various ways, with the Universal Park, with the movies, with mobile games, and that all brings it back to their core gaming platform, the Switch or whatever is going to be the system in the future. So you have this cycle where the movies and the mobile games expand the audience, and then some of that audience comes back to the core games, and thus you create this cycle where there's an even larger fan base that goes back to watch the movies and play the mobile games, so they reach an even larger audience, bringing in even more people. So not only is Donkey Kong having a major role in the movie, but also the next expansion to Super Nintendo World, Nintendo's Universal Park, is Donkey Kong. It isn't Zelda, it isn't Pokemon, it isn't Splatoon, it isn't Animal Crossing, bigger franchises. It's Donkey Kong. That is their first expansion beyond just Mario, and it's due to open up in 2024. We are in the second half of 2023. We really are not that far off. And many find it hard to believe that they would expand the Donkey Kong Park without having something significant Donkey Kong in terms of gaming as the backbone. So all this seems to support the idea that Nintendo is trying to cross-promote the Donkey Kong series, but for what? A Donkey Kong game. It supports the rumors, which is why what happened in this recent Nintendo Direct is a bit weird. Because with the Nintendo Direct, they sort of showcase that they are totally trying to use the Mario Bros. Movie to cross-promote other Nintendo characters. Because not only did they announce Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Super Mario RPG, both games featuring multiple important characters from the Mario Bros. Movie, but also they announced a totally dedicated new Nintendo game starring Peach, and also a visual enhancement for Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. So Luigi and Peach were significant characters in the Mario Bros. Movie alongside Mario and the main antagonist, Bowser. But the one significant character that didn't have any sort of game announced is Donkey Kong. So it makes you wonder, if Nintendo used this Direct to really take advantage of the Mario movie popularity and announce multiple games that will be featuring characters from the movie, this seems like a missed opportunity, especially with the Donkey Kong Park coming out in 2024. What's the timeline like for this game? Is it possible that it's just not coming? Anything is possible. These are rumors we're talking about here. We should take them with a grain of salt. But I'll also say, and again, you should take this with a grain of salt because you don't know where I'm getting my sources from, but a while ago I did hear that something Donkey Kong is happening, which coincided with the other rumors from other places. So I personally believe that yes, there is something Donkey Kong in the works, especially when we consider everything else we've mentioned. But just because something is in the works doesn't mean it's going to make it out to market. It could be delayed, it could be canceled. These are legitimate possibilities, so we don't know what's actually going to happen. But I think it will eventually happen. I think it's just a matter of time. And not that much time, because the park is coming out in 2024, and I do believe that the game would be announced if not before around the time of its release. But considering that we've seen delays with the opening of Super Nintendo World multiple times depending on which region, it might not shock me if we also see a delay of the Donkey Kong expansion. So if there is a delay, maybe that also could push up when we see the announcement for this game. I think that is something to think about, but considering that we haven't heard about a delay yet and we are in the second half of 2023, I am optimistic that we will see the opening of the Donkey Kong expansion in 2024, which to me implies that we will also see the announcement of the next brand new Donkey Kong game by the end of 2024. But if the game is to be announced in 2024, that raises another question. Is this going to be a Switch game? There's a lot of talk right now that Switch 2 is around the corner. It might be announced this year, it more likely may be announced next year. Something is happening in 2025, there's certainly debate there. The point is, there's debate, we don't know exactly when it's coming, but we know we're getting close. So could it be that maybe Donkey Kong wasn't announced during this Direct, even though it was meant to take advantage of the Mario movie popularity, because Nintendo is in the middle of this transition? Let's point out that while Mario Bros. Wonder may end up being the best-selling game on Switch this year, or maybe second to Zelda, it's going to be a big deal, it is a side-scrolling Mario game. It's lower budget than a big 3D Mario game. And Mario RPG, while an exciting remake with a lot of work being done to it, is a remake for a Super Nintendo game. A game that came out in 1991, that ultimately has the same kind of gameplay. And then Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is just a visual enhancement of a 3DS game. And then with the Peach game, well, the jury's out on that one. We're not sure just how ambitious it is, but many seem to think that it's something that is not as big as a brand new Zelda or Mario game or something of that style. Maybe something more close to what a Paper Mario game would be, which is definitely going to be quality stuff. Everything I'm talking about here I think is high quality, but I'm just talking about in terms of big projects that would showcase new hardware. These games seem like the perfect kind of games to have at this point, so Nintendo can have high quality games for us to play to end the year, but also be gearing themselves up to have more higher budget games to have a strong launch year for Nintendo's next system. So it may be the case that this Donkey Kong game that we thought was coming to Switch is actually coming to Switch too. Now, we don't know how many cross-gen games there are going to be, or just how backwards or forwards compatible this next system will be, but there's definitely a great chance that this Donkey Kong game will still be available for Switch. It may be available for both systems. And it's also possible this new system is going to take a little bit longer, and this Donkey Kong game still comes out before then. So we still got a lot of ifs about what exactly is happening. But there's one more thing I want to point out that I found interesting. So during the Direct, we had the announcement of the 3 characters that are being added with Wave 5 for the Mario Kart DLC. The Mario Kart DLC is now out, and we have our eyes on Wave 6, the supposed final wave for the Booster Course Pass that will likely be coming out around September or October. There are still 2 characters left to be added for the Booster Course Pass, and it's believed that these will be announced alongside the first trailer for Wave 6. But of the 3 characters they just added, which was a lot for one single wave, none of them included any Donkey Kong characters. There are no Donkey Kong characters in Mario Kart beyond just Donkey Kong. And there's a few prominent Donkey Kong characters that have been featured in prior Mario Kart games that many fans are expecting will make the cut. With just 2 slots left, it does seem unlikely that all the Kongs will be brought in because, well, there's just so many. But Diddy Kong seems like a very likely candidate. And then we also have the fan favorite of Funky Kong, and then the Dixie has a very, very outside chance. Point is, there are 3 Donkey Kong characters that have somewhat of a reasonable chance to be added into those final 2 spots for the DLC. So it makes you wonder, could it be that Nintendo's saving some Donkey Kong love for the next Nintendo Direct? Because Wave 6 is likely going to be shown off in the next Nintendo Direct, and historically we've always had a Direct in September. So it's probably a really safe bet that we're going to see some sort of Wave 6 announcement in the Direct, and a Donkey Kong character being added to the Mario Kart DLC seems pretty darn likely. Could it be that maybe that there's going to be extra Donkey Kong love here, and they will also announce a brand new Donkey Kong game maybe this also comes close to an announcement from Nintendo detailing the Donkey Kong expansion to Super Nintendo World, because if it's coming out in 2024, at some point or another, Nintendo is going to advertise and start to showcase what this expansion is all about. So September might be a period of Donkey Kong love, new Donkey Kong game, showcasing the Donkey Kong expansion to the park, and a Donkey Kong character or two being added to the Mario Kart DLC. I think there's a solid chance this may be happening. September Directs tend to give us at least a few games that are coming out in the beginning of the year, like actual release dates, and we don't have any solid release dates yet, and maybe they're going to have a surprise or two to open up the beginning of next year, and that could include a Donkey Kong game. But it's also totally possible that we'll get the DLC, maybe we do get Diddy Kong or Funky Kong, and that's it. There will be no mention of Donkey Kong this year, and then maybe in a February Direct, they announce the Donkey Kong game to come out later in the year. So it's really hard to say for sure when the Donkey Kong game is going to be announced, but between this upcoming September Direct and the 2 or 3 Directs we'll be getting sometime next year, I do think we are going to get the announcement of this game. In terms of what it will be, 2D or 3D or whatever Nintendo is coming up with, I don't think we actually know. I think there were some rumors out there that were piggybacking off of people who did have some idea, and we're just sort of assuming, oh, it'll be 2D or 3D. I don't think we actually know. I do think the reports of that Donkey Kong Freedom project that was at one point meant to be an open world Donkey Kong game that was being made by Activision that was canceled, and then supposedly Nintendo started making a Donkey Kong game after that. I think that suggests that we don't really know what direction we're going to see from the next Donkey Kong game. All I feel confident in saying is that Nintendo has plans for Donkey Kong, and I think they're pretty big ones based off everything we discussed today. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.